Well, good morning, everyone. This is going to be a Facebook Live program, and it's put on by GAR, and specifically the G.A.P, which is the GAR ambassador program here at GAR. And we're bringing you these programs to help educate you and keep you informed and keep you up to date on new ways that you can grow your business using some technology in some of the programs, and there'll be some other ones that we'll talk about to just give you some new tips and ways that you can engage during these times that it's hard to engage with our customers. I do want to mention that during this presentation, if you would chat and engage with me, and as they have other presenters throughout the different weeks, each time you're going to be entered into a drawing for some great swag. So you'll really want to participate with that. Well, I am Keith Powell. I'm with R1, and I look forward today to sharing with you some tips and some of my perspective on Remind. So with that, I like to open with one of my favorite quotes, and I actually have a couple. The first one is this: the ability to simplify means to eliminate the unnecessary so the necessary may speak. I've also been impressed with this particular quote. With the urgency of doing, knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do. And both of those quotes are from Leonardo da Vinci, one of the great masters of the world in so many aspects. Well, with the ability to simplify, that is a perfect opening for talking about Remind. So there are 8 major features of what Remind has, and it's basically an app. Now, I like to start out that I am not an expert, and in fact, I'm not a techie. That should be good news for most of you. There'll be a few of you on that are high-tech and use all kinds of technology and beyond even apps for running your business. But for most of you, technology can be kind of a challenge. And the good news is, because I'm not an expert, I'm just like you, I have the ability to share how I'm able to use it. Now, I don't know about most of you out there, but for me, when something in technology says user-friendly, it usually isn't. It usually means I have to really get in and try to understand how to use and apply that particular tool. Well, the good news is that Remind doesn't say that it is user-friendly, because it is super easy, as most apps are. The advantage to an app is they're readily available on your smartphone or tablet or the device that you're using. In this particular case, the Remind app is super simple to engage with. So I'm going to go through the 8 major apps, and then I want to highlight my 3 favorite ones and give you kind of my perspective on those. So let me start with some of the actual Remind pieces that you can use. So you have a search process to Remind, which is the ability to search for properties. And while you can do that on Flex MLS, and there are some other apps that are out there, this particular app has the ability to give you some additional features in how to use that search and really help you as well as your customer. It has the quick CMA process to be able to run a quick CMA. It has a marketing capability. It has a CRM to sync with your contacts and be able to invite them to join Remind and be able to search for properties as well. It has an agent portal. It has a client engage, which is a way to further engage with your clients because you can chat with them and you can send them a message through the system. And then it has the mobile data real estate background in your hand, because it is powered by the MLS. So it's the backside of that. It is connected, it is real, it is live, and it is currently in your hands and able to use. And there's nothing like having the world in the palm of your hands, which we have today with your smartphone, and being able to search for those properties, being able to do all kinds of unique things that we couldn't do just a few short years ago. So let me talk about 3 of my particular favorite ones. The first one is search. And this search allows you to do sort of your standard search that you would do in an MLS setting, but again, with your phone right there on the spot. And you can also do, and I used this yesterday, being able to do a satellite view and pull up that particular property and be able to look at the property lines of it and be able to see the property kind of from an aerial view. It has the capability of saving that search so that you can save it for future reference, and also has the capability of being able to send that to your client or prospect. So that's a really, really handy one to utilize. The other one is the CMA. Now, I would still run good, solid CMAs when you're back in your office or just kind of double check, but this is a really good way to get a quick view of what you need in the CMA area so that you can do your analysis right on the spot. And then the client engage. So those are the three that I use the most: the search, the CMA, and the client engage. The client engage really has two parts. One is that you can invite, and it's a very simple process. Again, because it's an app, it allows you to do it in a very easy, simple way. If your contact is already in your smartphone, you can pull it up and easily just click on, and it sends that particular invitation to become part of Remind so that they can search for properties. As most of you are aware today, clients do like to do their own homework and their own research. They want you to do the job for them of finding them their property, but at the same token, they want to be able to look and see what's around in an area. So this is a really nice way to say you have both capabilities. I'm going to be searching for you, but feel free to search yourself. You see something, you can then engage with me through this particular app simply by using the chat feature in there. There are other features on this app that are helpful to you. And so you have a daily reminder. I kind of like it because the daily reminder features a coffee cup, which is how I like to start my day and really continue through my day with my coffee. So it gives you a daily kind of way to look at what you need to do for the day. It's kind of a quick, easy process to look at some of the stored contacts that you may have in there for properties. It has a notes section, chat we already mentioned, the search, the CMA, and it has a cart so you can actually store in there your contacts, and this is a really good one. If you put your contacts in, and even if they're prospects, I like to do this so that I know when somebody calls me that that's somebody that I'm working with. And we all get tons of robocalls today. So it's very easy not to pick up a call because we don't know who that is. We look at it and say, who is that that's calling? So if I'm working with anybody, I immediately put that contact information into my phone so that when it comes up, I can see that it's somebody that I'm working with or a prospect that I'm trying to work with, and I can quickly engage. But by doing that, using Remind in this process, all you need to do is click on that process. Do the little search for the prospect's name or client's name in the search window, and then click on it, and it'll automatically send them an invite to join. I mentioned Engage, and then there's some additional marketing features that are in there, and even a place to store docs. One of the other features which I have used, which can be extremely helpful, particularly if this is something new to you in using an application like this for real estate or for running your business, is the support area. So it actually has a capability of click support, type in a question, and somebody will get back to you with their response. And then of course you can go to remind.com and actually take some tutorials, which are really great, and periodically, beyond what I'm giving you here today, which is sort of an overview or a highlight of the program, there are classes that are periodically offered. I know in the past I've been to a couple that have been offered here at GAR for Remind and even some of the other apps that we have. I do want to take a minute and remind you that if you engage, do some chat with me, you will be entered into a drawing for some great swag, so you don't want to miss out. So feel free to engage. And because we're live here, is somebody watching the chat box? Are we getting any chats at all? Any engagement happening there? Any questions that we want to shoot forward?
Belinda asked when Remind training was. It's going to be July 28th from 9 to 10:30.
July 28th from 9 to 10:30, and that's going to be the Remind training offered, GAR. And that'll be offered online, I assume, yes, while we're going through these times of social distancing. One of the other advantages of Remind when you're with a prospect or a customer is that you seem cutting edge, and you are, because you've got the capability of interacting right there on the spot with properties, and there's nothing like that today. I know that was new to me in the process, to be able to stand in a property and be able to do so much work. The other night I was in a property, and with this I was able to do some quick searches and see what else was in the area, see what was going pending as things were happening very, very fast. As most of you are aware, this is an extremely fast market today, so you have to be prepared. I have to be prepared to respond immediately to situations that come up, new property listings, and also things that are going pending or multiple offers coming in, which was the case I had the other night. So I'm able to monitor that standing right there, maybe in a property or in my vehicle, and be able to connect again with my clients. I do find that clients really like the feature of being able to do some searching for themselves, to be able to go out there and do some playing around with it and be able to see what they can find. And there are a lot of apps out there, and there's a lot of different technology and programs, but one of the nice features of this is that when you're sending it to them, you're the only one that's sending this particular one and this program at that time. So they're not going to get bombarded with other people. They may from other apps and other sources that they're connecting with, but for this particular one, it's engaging you and your client or your prospect kind of one-on-one. And that's kind of a nice feature. I tell them, you know, I'm not going to hound you or whatever when you get this particular app. It just gives you a capability of being able to connect immediately with me if you see something or if you have a quick question. And I encourage the clients to ask questions. I had a new client the other night, and one of the things they said is, I think I've asked too many, you know, kind of dumb questions. I said, there aren't any dumb questions in this particular industry for sure, because we are so overwhelmed with so much technology, but all the different factors that go into purchasing a home or listing a home as well. So it gives them an opportunity. The other side that's nice, and I think this comes into more of the marketing side of the app, is that when you do a listing presentation now, you can show that you are connected in a very highly upgraded technological way, and that you're also marketing that property in that way, and people have a capability of seeing it and interacting with it on a very, very fast basis. So, you know, speed today is the new currency. It's the speed of our response, it's the speed of our engagement, and it's the speed of our processing what needs to be done. So this particular program and app really helps with that. Any other engagement coming up there? I have Kelly here helping out, so she's reading the contact there. Don't forget to engage, because there is going to be a drawing for some great swag that you'll want to be involved with on that.
Yeah, so I have a question about do you have any recommendations for using the carts with marketing?
Well, to be straightforward, and again, I'm not the expert, I haven't used the cart feature on this a lot. I think if you go to their website training and the one coming up, you'll probably get more information. And Kelly, feel free to shoot out something if you have something on how the cart feature is an enhancement. It's not one of the features I currently use.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Tracy O'Neill says, hi Keith, nice to virtually meet you. Thank you for taking time to do this. It was great to have a quick, informative presentation.
Great, thank you. And you're now entered into the contest drawing. So, a quick review again, for those of you, some of you may be just jumping in. There's a lot of different features of this particular app. One of the beauties of it, it is very, very easy and simple. And I like simple. You know, you don't want to, we're running our business, and there's a lot we have to know and keep up with on obviously a daily basis today, with so many things changing, not only within the world, but certainly within our business structure. So when you get an app, you don't want one that is going to be complicated. Now, apps in general are supposed to be easy to use, and most are. I find some a little cumbersome in some ways. This particular one is not. It is very, very simple. If you spend a few minutes with it playing around, you will get the feel of it and then kind of enhance, and that's what I like to do. I mentioned I don't particularly use the cart one currently, but each time I use it, I try to look at some other features that maybe I haven't engaged with myself enough and kind of play around with those. So search features is one of the great ones because searching for properties and even getting the instant aerial view on there, the CMA, and then the client engagement. And I find today, and this is a particular important aspect of my business, and I believe important for you as well, and that is that our clients can't feel us going dark, even though we have a lot of things that are encouraging us to, social distance, to stay apart, to stay in, to kind of, go into the cave, so to speak. It's really, really important during these times that we engage and talk with our clients, and by phone, by text, and engagements such as this through an app. The other piece of that is because you're engaging through the app, they can be encouraged to connect in. You've invited them, and then you will also get a notification when they've accepted that invitation, which is a nice plus as well. So I know that someone is using and engaging with this particular app. When they've gotten the invitation, you're notified, and then when they go on it, you'll get periodic notifications as well. Any other questions coming in?
Yeah, so how easy have your clients found that the searching in the carts on their end is pretty user-friendly?
It is, and depending upon the age of your client, and I think age is sort of the dividing line there, the younger your client, the easier it is. They're right there, they're to it, and in fact, again, they like the fact that you are up to speed on technology. Some older clients may find it just a little bit challenging at first if they're not currently using apps. Now, a lot of older clients, and when I say older, I mean people that might be, 60 and beyond. I mean, that's not necessarily old, but you know what I mean, that they're not as technologically forward in what they're doing on a daily basis. But more and more people are. More and more people are shopping with Amazon and online and all the rest of that. And a lot of those companies have apps, the television shopping networks, a lot of them have apps. I use some of those myself. So they're getting more and more comfortable, even if there's an age separation in using technology. Occasionally I'll find somebody that it's just not for them, and that's fine. So, you always have to be sensitive to where the client is coming from and how they want to communicate with you. If someone is more comfortable with phone versus email or text versus email, you engage with them that way, and that would apply to this as well. So I think you just have to kind of feel people out. And generally I ask them, are you okay? Are you comfortable? And then if you play around a little bit, if they get stuck or they're just starting out, you can help them. You can kind of tutor them through the process of how to get to where they need to go on the app. Okay? Any other questions coming in on the chat?
Awesome. Have you used any of the options for the predictive analytics? Have you used any of that in your business?
I have been playing around with that. It has the mortgage calculator in there, which is kind of a handy kind of piece, and then it also goes through and gives you quite an in-depth spread on some of those, and that's really one of the newer areas that I'm actually using with this particular app. I do have a few other apps that I do use. I like this one and one other one really, really well in terms of dealing with it on a daily basis. So this one and the Smart Snap, which is the other one that I like. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Other questions? Don't forget to chat in if you're watching. You want to be connected in and be in the drawing for some great swag that we're offering. And that's part of the G.A.P program, which is our the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors and their ambassador program that we provide these trainings, and work as a team to bring you kind of up to date with where things are. And by the way, if you have suggestions of some programs that you would like to see, we welcome that as part of the ambassador program. So shoot us an email or a text or phone us or some way, get in contact with us and say, hey, how about something in this area, or I need some help in this area, and we'll see what we can do to provide that. Kelly, do you have another question coming in?
Yeah, Helen said thanks for the mortgage calculator tips. She actually wasn't aware of that. Let's see what else we've got. Lydia has a comment here. So her struggle with implementing another system when I currently use a CRM and Flex for most leads and searches. She's got a tool with her brokerage. she finds this whole, let's see, so basically in summarizing, Lydia, and thanks for your comment, Lydia, in summarizing the comments, she finds there's a lot of systems to manage information, and so she finds this holding her back from using Remind, even though it looks amazing, and she's not sure what to do about it. So do you have any advice?
Okay, when I started with looking at a lot of the apps, which was probably about maybe a little over a year ago, and in fact it was a G.A.P program that we had out here at GAR on the patio, and they had the different tables out there, and we visited the different discussion areas on some of the different apps that were being offered. And I connected in with all of them. I got information on all of them, then I sat down and tried to play a little bit with some of them. Then there were some further courses offered, and those were in the GAR office here, so they were face-to-face. I came and participated in some of those, and that's where I kind of weeded out. I thought there was some overlay on some of them, but like anything that we have as a tool in our business, there are some strengths and some weaknesses, and it depends a little bit upon what your needs are and how you do your business as to which ones will be better for you. So I actually eliminated 2 of the 4 that we were looking at and concentrated on 2. And so by doing that, I pulled down the scope. And again, it's going to be an individual thing. It's what you're comfortable with. It's just like anything else. You know, some of us go to Dunkin' Donuts, some of us go to Starbucks. I'm the Starbucks guy. Some of us, brew coffee at home and never go out to other places. Some of us get it at GAR when we can get that. Hopefully we'll get it back one of these days. But, it's a personal preference, just like anything else we do. I think what you want to do is look at how you run your business and the kind of information you feel you need when you're out on the spot at a property. I know one of them that I really like is the capability of it actually drawing the property lines, and this is not to be used as the official, but it's to give you a quick run of what the property line. I was looking at a property that was out in East Mountain, and huge property, 5 acres, and looking at, well, where exactly is it? I'm standing up, I'm even up on the 2nd story balcony looking around trying to get, and I was doing this as a preview for an out-of-state client, and I'm looking to try and get a preview of where the property is, the property lines, and you can generally see, I pulled up the app and was able to snap a quick drawing of the entire perimeter of the property lines, and it came up in a blue line. So I could see, and here's the second part, I was able to take a snapshot of that and send that to my client. Now that's really sharp from your perspective, particularly with an out-of-state client, for them to be able to see the property lines in a quick overview. So those kind of additional kind of secondary or advanced features of these apps are really important. The other one that's also helpful is that you can actually be in front of a property and take a picture of the property, and it'll pull up that information for you. And in fact, I did that yesterday. I was driving by a property and just happened to catch that it was not one I was looking for. I was just happened to be in a neighborhood, and I took a quick picture of the property, and immediately that property information came up. So I didn't have to search through looking for an MLS number. I didn't have to put in an address of where I was. I didn't have to do any of that. The only thing I do have to do to make sure is that you're always on location. In other words, that you're on the satellite so that the satellite knows exactly where you are, and on the GPS kind of coordinate system so that it's taking the picture of where you are. But that was just one quick snap, and there I had it. Now, I have to tell you, that's fast. That is really, really something that helps you if you're in a hurry or you don't want to have to stop and look for an address. And again, just something that helps you kind of do that. And you can send that information through the app to your client without having to further input that particular property location, MLS or street address number. Somebody may be joining, so if you are, shoot us a chat, and we'll enter you in the drawing for some great swag. Kelly, any other comments coming in?
So I actually piggybacked on something you were talking about in regards to Lydia's question, what people may also consider, and I put this in the chat, is using the analytics. I think the analytics are really underutilized, and you can use those predictive analytics to help hone in your marketing efforts. So instead of, marketing to a massive area of Ventana Ranch, you can really identify those in Ventana Ranch that have a higher likelihood of selling or have a higher likelihood of owning their home for a certain period of time. And so I would encourage you to look at Remind through that set of glasses, so to speak, as really being a tool that you can use for marketing as well. And I just want to say, Ginny Longbottom joined us, and just saying hello, because I think she joined us.
Jenny, great. Yes, and I hope everybody heard that. Kelly was adding that in, but to use the analytics, because that enhances your ability to do your farming and to, be very, very specific on a particular area that you may be looking at for a client. So it allows you to hone in closer than just even the general neighborhood or the general zip code area of that particular property, or the area that it's in, like an MLS area designation. So that's an advantage as well. Like anything, and I would stress this again, some of you just joining, I'm not an expert in this, and that's a good thing from your perspective, because I'm just one of you out there utilizing this. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with experts, but sometimes we get experts and say, oh, it goes this way, it does this thing, and it does it very fast and the rest of that, but they're not actually out there in the trenches, and they grew up maybe in a technologically oriented educational system or background. So for those of us that are having to use it, we're in the trenches out there, literally today. So we're on the front lines of trying to deal with our customers and our prospects, and in doing that, we need things that operate really easy, very simply, and yet give us the background and the data that we need. And I really find that with the Remind. So I would encourage you, even if you're just slightly interested, or maybe you're looking at a few programs, go to one of the classes that's offered on this, and as we have others that'll be offered in the weeks to come on this kind of Facebook Live programming, go ahead and take some in-depth study a little bit and reach out to the tutorials that are done online as well with these different apps, and that way you can sort through and you can see where the comfort level is for you and how it's going to work to enhance your business. The whole bottom line is, we don't want to be experts in this. We want to be experts in our business, and we want to be the people that are out there and dealing with real estate, and we're on the top of our game. And in fact, that's going to separate us from some people that aren't willing to put the time and effort in to learn some of these new features and new technologies and new tools. That gives you a leg up. So you're out there and you're working your business and growing it and doing it in a very professional way. So it kind of gives you a leg up. It shows that you are really learning things and you're really cutting edge. Kelly, do we have a last minute one or two that's come in?
Doesn't look like we do. Renee, who's also a GAR ambassador, popped in here. So, hey, Renee, good to see you.
Hi, Renee.
Yeah, looks like Lydia said great tips. Only available in Remind. Thanks.
So, great. Go ahead and review the ones that I've given you. Take a look at those 8 major features. Again, my preference to actually start, and again, maybe don't start with some of the advanced ones. Start with the general ones, kind of get comfortable with those, and then kind of move through. The search, the CMA, and the client engagement, from my perspective, are really kind of the good building blocks, because you need to search for properties, you need to have the CMA background on those properties oftentimes, and then important that you're engaging a couple of ways with your clients. Engaging by sending them an invite so that they can look on Remind themselves as well, and then also be able to chat with you and you with them in terms of properties that may come up on the market. So let me wrap up this with kind of a closing thought or two. I want to thank GAR and the G.A.P group, our ambassador group that helped put this program and future ones coming together, and Kelly for her hard work in orchestrating all of this. I don't know about for you, but I look forward to the others and to learn and to engage with our other professionals out there in real estate. So thank you for attending, and I'll leave you with a closing thought. This is from Winston Churchill. The optimist sees opportunities in every danger, while the pessimist sees dangers in every opportunity. So I hope that you will engage with us on a future Facebook Live.